Welcome everybody to the Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Oz. I'm joined as always by Josh Lambert, Aaron Peerless, and Tim Johnson. And we are joined tonight by the wonderful and beautiful Deborah Voorhees, everybody.
Yay!
How's it been, Deborah?
Thank you. Oh, it's been going terrific. Thank you so much for having me. We are finished with shooting, which I'm very glad, since the coronavirus and everything happened. That would have stopped us in our tracks, but as it is, I'm working at home editing, so that works out great, actually.
Perfect.
So hold on, you're editing in addition to directing and everything else?
Uh-huh.
Holy moly.
It's great. What are you using for a video editor? We're not going to plug it or anything, but like, I just want to know.
I use DaVinci Resolve. I like it because I can go straight from editing to color grade. I've got a sound, an area for doing sound as well as for special effects. I don't really know the special effects side of it yet. It's a complicated program. But I hope to learn it, and I'm working with my editing partner. His name's Riley Morris. He's very talented, and so we've been having a good time doing that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that does come to a shock for a lot of people because you got your hands in every aspect of this movie, like absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
writing.
Yeah, right from the beginning, writing, which you told us the
Acting.
Absolute creepy story about how this came about the last time. And
right.
The whole story behind it, and yeah, so acting, writing, acting, directing, editing.
I'm sure she had a hand in casting.
Raising money, well, of course, casting as a director, but raising money, promoting it. Yep. That's because I'm the kind of girl that likes to have something to do.
Absolutely. I can imagine. So you say you're in the post-processing stage with it now, but like, how far along are you? Like, do you have still like an estimate as to when things are going to potentially hit for availability?
So much of that is to do with what happens once we decide to sign with a particular distributor. So too much I can't tell you, but I can tell you that we have a rough edit from A to Z, and I'm now kind of splicing it down a little bit, and we'll get it out and take another look at it, cut it down a little bit more, finesse it, get the sound design in. I've already got our composer. His name's Tamer Surrey, and he's amazing. Any filmmaker out there who wants an amazing composer, he's the only one I'd go to. His name's Tamer Surrey. I love it. He literally writes music in his sleep. He's done several things for me, and it just, everything he does takes everything to a whole new level of amazement. And so I am so excited to see what he comes up with. I just pretty much just hand him the stuff to look at and say, okay, see what you feel, bring this back to me and let me know what you think. And he always blows me away.
Nice. No, that sounds incredible. Yeah. for
Yeah,
anybody who wants to know more, I mean, we'll definitely get some information about the your composer and post about him, and
that'd be
absolutely
great. He's wonderful.
crazy. And now
Hmm.
you did point out something very interesting. You said, thanks to the fact that you got everything filmed before shutdown all over
Hmm.
Hollywood happened. I found it very
Right,
interesting that you did two main large location shoots. And what I say by that is, I mean, you did New
right.
Mexico, and then you did like Los Angeles.
Well, actually, most everything, 35 days was in New
Mm-hmm.
Mexico. So July, we had 11 days in New Mexico, 25 days or 24 days in January. And then we did some basic shooting, not a lot, some cars, movement, atmosphere of LA, some outer venues for the scenes that we have for the LA area, but the inside of those areas, it's all, New
Movie
Mexico.
magic.
I know, movie magic. We make you think we're one place when we're not. It's a sleight of
It's
hand.
all Los Angeles, folks. Don't you forget it. It's all Los Angeles. That's
That's
right.
right. That's right. I love
LA
LA.
is fun. LA is fun. Tim,
Hmm.
you had a couple things you wanted to ask.
I do. So there's usually like interesting stuff that happens while filming. Do you have
Yeah, yeah.
any interesting stories, anything funny or awesome that you'd like to share?
Nothing happened.
Nothing
No.
No,
happened.
no, I'm kidding. No, oh my gosh, there are so many amazing stories from set. Gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Um, Man, I had such an amazing group of people to work with. And you have massive problems that come your way and you just figure out how to fix them on the fly. Uh, I should be able to do better than this. I'm
Don't
so
worry about it.
sorry. Um,
We kind of put you on the spot there.
I know, I know. Yeah, you could have given me warning. I'd come up with about three different things. Just, I can think of a lot of things to tell
Sorry.
you. um, okay, well, I'll start with, as you know, Dee Wallace is one of our leads in the film. She was unbelievably brilliant to work with. This is a woman who really knows her craft and really knows about being an actress. So, day one on the set with Dee, and day one for my January shooting, I'm not only directing her, but I'm also acting beside her. And I was worried. I hadn't acted since the 80s. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing this next to Dee Wallace. So I just was honest with her. I thought it'd be better to be honest and let her know that I'm worried than to sit there and pretend like I'm not and have a problem. I said, look, I haven't acted in front of a camera since the 80s. I said, I am probably going to have to reshoot my stuff a few times. And I'm sorry, but I may suck. And I really, up front, am apologizing. And so she just very kindly took my hand and said, all you need to remember is connect with me. And from that moment that she said that, I was like, she's right. And that was that moment of feeling like, okay, I do remember how to ride the bicycle.
Mm.
I do know what I'm supposed to be doing because it was like everything came together in that moment. And from that moment on, I wasn't even the slightest bit nervous working or getting back in front of the camera. It was just that one little thing that I needed to
Amazing.
remind me of what I was supposed to be doing, remind me of what my job is, remind me how to, spin those pedals.
Yeah.
It's amazing how a few words like that just
Hmm.
get you back right on that pedal bike. That's amazing.
Exactly. That's
Wow.
exactly right.
That's really cool.
So that was really neat time. We had a little incident with the fire that was really kind of funny. I'm trying to shoot a scene and I wanted a fire in the fireplace. And I was going to do all my close-ups without the fire because, you know, so many things can go wrong with the fire. Well, they pretty much did. And the entire first floor and second floor of the house was completely smoked out. And we had these big, tall windows, but they didn't open all the way. So we had to open up the doors and we had to put everybody down in the basement and outside. Of course, it's winter, so it's cold, especially for our people coming from California.
Oh, like poor Vincent.
Yes, yes. And this was one of the days that we had Dee there, and I'm just like going, oh, she was such a good sport about it, though. I'm just like going, please, not now.
It's almost if you don't have incidents like that, you're not an indie film.
That's right. Oh, we have so many. So we're very, very indie.
If you haven't started at least one fire.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that one was really funny. Oh, let's see. Oh, in a sorry, this is really funny. We're doing a shoot where we have a film within a film. Our other lead actress, her name is Haley Greenbauer. You guys are gonna love her. She's a brilliant actress. And she's supposed to be an actress in the film as well as just being in the film, but she's supposed to be a part of a fictional film series called Bloodlust, and she's in the middle of filming Bloodlust 3. And there's a scene where a guy comes up to her, and we're actually filming it where you see the crew and stuff, so you're filming a film set. And she's doing a fight scene, and they choreographed it very well and have everything in place. But the guy that she's choreographing with, when she goes in like this for the punch, he's supposed to lean back. Instead, he moved into it.
She clobbered him.
She clocked him. I mean, right on the lip. Oh, we have a picture of him bent over, just he comes up, he's got a busted lip, the poor guy.
Oh, that's amazing.
What's really funny is that one was like a minor fight scene. It was just a very quick, couple quick moves and like this, and it was meant to be staged to be to look like a movie fight, as opposed to after you finish the edit where you can't see where the punches were supposed to go. So it was slow moving and everything. And so, yeah, that was pretty funny. And let's see, our real fight scenes went really well. They went super well. My producing partner is Joel Paul Rysick, and he did a really nice job of staging the fights and did a terrific job. He's very safe on the set, as well as making it look realistic. I did learn some things that I want to change for next time, that I can make it a little easier. And when we get to the edit room, we had a few problems with it, but nothing that we couldn't fix in the edit. It all looked really good. But I definitely learned some things that I'll change next time around. That's the neat thing about filmmaking. I like to learn new things all the time. And I make sure that every day I learn something new, no matter what I'm doing in my life, that I'm learned something new, whether it's take some small class or read something or experiment with something. And so that's one of the reasons I love making movies, because there's always another hurdle to get over to learn.
Lots to learn on a film set, that's for sure. Everything up from a key grip to an editor.
Oh yeah. And I believe as a director, I don't think I need to be able to master what everybody else is doing, but I need to understand it and be able to do it if they're gone. If for some reason my lighting guy doesn't show up, I can set the lights up. He does it all the time, and so he's going to do it faster than I will. you know, because I'm going to be going, oh shoot, where was this? Where was that? I don't know where everything is, you know. But yeah, you know, or if I've had it where my sound guy didn't make it, I've had to run sound while directing. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Booming it, holding the equipment, and action.
Wow.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Talk about feeling like a klutz. Oh,
Yeah.
How did you go about finding your SPFX crew for for makeup and things? Did you find them yourself, or did you?
Actually, we called Tom Savini, and he isn't doing that much in special effects these days,
Right.
because he's moved on to some other things that he wants to do. But he suggested Nora Hewitt.
Yep.
And she came in, if you guys will remember, she won the 9th season of Face Off. And then when we were shooting back in January, she could still work with us from afar, but she wasn't going to be able to be on site. And so she sent another one of her counterparts on the 9th season of Face Off, and sent her to come and work with us. And boy, the two of them were really dynamite. I'm really very, very happy. I think the horror fans will like what we've come up with. We got a little blood for you.
Excellent.
Yay!
Not that you like the blood or anything. You can close your eyes, you know, do like this.
I'm glad the face-off crew is getting utilized like that. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Tim, did that answer your other question too?
Oh, yeah.
And then some.
Yes. And then
some. Okay. I guess another big thing that I'd want to know is that, and you're talking about the fact that you're learning things from this to move on to the next thing. Is there anything that you did not accomplish with 13 Fanboy while you were filming that you wish you could have, whether it was time constraints, budget, or just a lack of not having the experience to pull it off, or anything like that? Is there anything you wish you could do?
That's a really good question. I think probably the only thing, I really surrounded myself with a lot of very, very talented people, a lot of talented crew members. There were some things that I would have liked to have had. I would have liked to have had a little bit more in the grip department. And some really large, I would have loved to have had like some large cranes, and especially one of the cranes where you can move in like this and up and move and have some really significant movement and things with them. That's one big thing. I had some pretty good opportunity with some drone work, but I would have liked to have been able to do a little bit more. We're really kind of an unusual indie film. We took our time. There's not many indie films that take 35 days to shoot.
No.
That's not a norm at all. We took that extra time so that we could do a lot of the things we wanted. So really the only things that I can say is that some of the equipment would have really been nice to have. And it wouldn't have taken that much more. With a little bit bigger budget, we probably could have stretched for it. But that's what the next film's for. But I have to say, I feel really good about what we have. I feel like we've got a really terrific product that you guys are going to really like.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
We're all eager for it. Just before we came on, Tim was demanding that one of my questions was going to be, where is it and why can't I watch it now? I want it now.
I want it now.
So I came up with the nicer question of, so how far along is it?
Appreciate that.
No worries.
No pressure, right?
No pressure. No. So with this movie, and I mean, you bring up like Dee Wallace and a bunch of people here. So you're re-debuting a lot of people for certain audiences. Like, Dee Wallace is still very active in a lot of things, and there's a lot of people that are not, though, that are in this movie that haven't done acting in a while, such as yourself, or are sparse in what they choose to do. do you think that this has kind of reignited some of these people to kind of want to continue in with more horror movies and kind of come back to the community a little bit, or do you think that it was a lot of just good fun to have and that'll probably be it for one last hurrah
type of thing?
What do you think?
That's a good question. I would suspect that it did. I mean, everybody that we worked with, from Tracy Savage to Judy Aronson to Kane Hodder to CJ Graham, Jennifer Banco. Gosh, there's so many people that we worked with, like Ron Sloan. Ron Sloan actually played Dee Wallace's husband in this. And so, I don't know if I can say for sure if it reignited or if it may have already been there. But I definitely feel like we have a lot of people who are very interested in doing more stuff. I guess I will say that for myself, that's probably true.
Nice.
I hadn't been in front of the camera and really didn't have any interest in being in front of it. But once I did, it was like, this feels good. Maybe I want to do that again.
Yeah. Love it. Excuse me. So, absolute all-star cast that you have with this, and I mean, you did actually film a convention scene, but basically with the absolute mass amount of alumni and cast that you have, you could actually fill a convention with this group of people. Do you have any plans to do anything for like the post process of this movie, to promote it or to go to conventions if possible with as many people as possible, or a release party of some kind? Do you have any plans to do that?
Well, I would definitely I'm hoping that the film will be well received, and I'm hoping in several of the horror conventions will want to have us come as a cast to, to be a part of signing autographs and that sort of thing. So yes, I hope so. Now, as far as, we do plan to have a premiere for the film, and right now we're planning on that being in LA. And then, of course, I want to do something here in where I live, which is in the Ruidoso area of New Mexico. It's pretty spectacular for a really small town. And we're talking about a town, we don't have an airport around here. We have an hour and 45 minutes away in Roswell, 2 hours and something to El Paso, and about 2.5 to 3 hours to Albuquerque. Okay. So we're kind of in a remote area. People come here by car, not by plane typically. We do have a private airport, but it's just for small planes, that come in. So we're very remote. It's not an easy place to make a film, but I wouldn't have wanted to do it anywhere else. I love where I live, and I really want to share it with people, and this is a great way to do it.
No, that's awesome.
Didn't realize you were that close to Roswell. My wife's gonna love to hear that, because one of these days she wants to go on a road trip down to Roswell. So I'll make sure to drop in and say hi when we're on our way.
You need to, yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Oh man. Yes. So 13 Fanboy, we're excited. We can't wait. And every update that you give is more and more fuel for the fire for fans out there that are hungry to hear it. And the Deborah Voorhees horror group on Facebook is big time. People are all over it, and constantly sharing. And the wonderful thing that I'm always loving to read on the group is the amount of people that were involved that are just continuously sharing love stories of how things came together on set. And their experiences. It's this movie has touched so many people so far, and it hasn't even been released. So,
this is something that was very, very important to me, is that having the fans involved. We had people come in just to be an extra on the set. We had people come in to be killed, for, like a single line. We had, and they came in from all over the country, way back east. And getting here, I'm telling you, it's not easy. Most of them flew into Albuquerque and then had to drive here. Yet, it's not simple. But we had, I mean, a lot of people come in just to be a part of it. And so that was super nice. And I think that, I think people are going to even be more ecstatic when they see it and they realize what they're really a part of.
Well, that's the dream for horror fans.
Yeah,
you get to
absolutely.
Go and be in a horror movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And and especially given, let's think about it. It's called Fanboy. How can we not invite the fans to be in it? I mean, that's crazy not to invite them, right? So it's just kind of a must. And actually, that's what I'm doing with this book too, that I told you guys about. It's about true ghost stories. It can also be about, angel stories or people who have helped, relatives that have died and helped people along the way. And I'm probably going to separate them into two separate ones, like a scary ghost movie and then, more like an angel guardian helpful kind of thing. But I want true stories, things that people have really experienced, not something that's been,
hokey,
fictionalized and turned into something more. And I mean, I love ghost stories like that too, but this is supposed to be true. And I kind of had this in my mind for a while, but then I was like, everybody is so stressed out over the coronavirus. I thought, I'm going to just launch this without taking 2 seconds to figure out how I'm going to get it accomplished, which is the way you get anything accomplished. You just jump off the cliff and you go, I'm doing this!
Too late now!
That's right, I'm going!
Yeah.
And I hope the parachute comes open.
About.
And,
so is this a book you're working on, or a movie, or both?
It's a book right now. What I thought was, people are feeling stressed. They're at home. They need something to do. Let them tell their stories. Take for a moment and get them away from the coronavirus and the sadness and the pain of all of that. And let's just tell about some ghost stories. It's my version, my social distancing version of let's all sit around the campfire and tell our ghost stories, kind of thing. And I have gotten so many great stories. And so I hear that maybe some of you guys might have something for me. Maybe.
I'm not going to say I had the Microsoft Word up earlier, but I might have. I don't know.
Oh, cool. Well, I would love to see it. That would be fantastic. I have a story from Dee Wallace that's going to be in it. Ron Sloan has a story in it. Jennifer Bako is working on a story. And so, and then we have several fans involved that have sent in their stories, and they'll be in there too. So,
yeah, but these are East Coast ghosts we're talking
this is a whole different kind of ghost. This is East Coast ghost.
Yeah,
perfect.
East
Josh,
Coast
you
ghost.
just gave me the title for it. East Coast ghost.
I like it. I like it.
You can make my royalty checks out to cash there, Ed.
Lovely.
Hey there, it's Deborah Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Part 5, and you are listening to They Cast from the Coast.
Love it. So, I'm just going to throw this out. If anybody has any other questions that they want to ask her. Yes.
I do. When you were writing the story for Fanboy 13, or 13 Fanboy, did you have actors in mind when you were writing it, or was it more organic where it was like, hey, I haven't seen this person for a while and they were in Friday, whatever? Like,
no,
how did you pick?
Yeah, no, I actually had them in mind. And my writing partner is also my producing partner, and that's Joe Paul Rysick. And our actors are playing themselves.
Right.
With the exception of Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman, I'm sorry, that was one I didn't mention. He's in it. Brilliant, incredibly funny. He plays a sleazy producer named Mike Merriman. And since everybody's playing themselves, the roles really needed to reflect at least some of who they are. They're fictionalized versions of themselves, because obviously this isn't really happening. But I definitely needed to have that person in mind to make it work. And so, yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing
Awesome.
that you were able to get those people. That's great.
Yeah,
That everyone came together as alumni.
Without maybe naming names, was there anybody that you went after that you couldn't get, or decided to politely decline, or?
The main one that we had talked about, and I talked to Adrienne King from the start, and we talked about how we could involve her in the production. And we tried in several different ways, and as everybody probably knows, but in case somebody who's listening doesn't, Adrienne King was the original final girl in the first Friday the 13th. And so we actually set her up. I had written a role for myself, and I suggested, what about this role? And I thought, I'll step down. She's a better choice. And initially, first she said no, then she said yes. And it was kind of back and forth, but it's for understandable reasons. As you guys know, she was stalked. And it was a really bad situation. And so she could just never get quite comfortable with the whole idea of doing the film. And even to the point that we worked it out for like a cameo situation, and it just made her too nervous. And I totally get that and totally understand. But, you know, I'm thrilled with who we did bring in, and who knows, maybe we'll work together on a different project that's not about stalking one day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She was very much the inspiration for the story in some aspects, right? So
actually the inspiration, the story came prior to it. And once we had the story, that's when I started reaching out to different people in Friday the 13th prior to writing, because I wanted it to have some truth and some depth to it on who these people are. And so I really needed to know who was my cast to write the characters around. I learned some about them and took it from there.
I love that you were able to backwards orchestrate this whole thing.
Yeah.
That just blows my mind that as an alumni, you were just able to call them up and basically be like, we're working on this project. I have you in mind. And
right.
The majority of them said yes, which is great.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, it worked really nicely. In fact, for the most part, everybody was very quick in agreeing to it. So, and when I was really excited when we sent the script to Dee Wallace, and I was just really had my fingers crossed. I kept seeing her in the role. I just thought this is so perfect for her if she agrees. And we got a note back, and she goes, "Why didn't anybody think about this before?" And so she jumped on board. So I was very happy about that.
That's perfect.
Oh, and then we did lose Tom Matthews along the way, and I'm not sure 100% exactly what happened there. My initial understanding was that he, when we needed to shoot in July, he was leaving for Europe with family and wasn't able to, but there was a couple things that suggested to me that maybe there was another reason too, but I really don't know for sure. But I did receive a note from him not too long ago where he just said that congratulations on everything, and he hoped that maybe he could be involved on the next one. So we may get him yet.
Absolutely. He seems to be one of the ones, like we were talking about earlier, that's kind of reinvigorated, after doing...
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Did you say that you're making another one?
That's my plan. As this one does well, I want a part 2.
We all want a part 2, and we haven't even seen part 1.
Yeah, we haven't even seen the first one yet.
I personally can't wait till part 8 when they go to space. But...
I was thinking instead of space, I want to do something really original, like a submarine.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Underwater laboratory.
I just think that the space thing seems a little cheesy, but we go underground in submarines, and then it's suddenly
Scientific
cool.
at this point.
The first
That's
ever horror
right.
convention on a submarine.
Exactly where I'm going with this. And the submarine's gonna look like a cabin.
Hey, if you can't blow the budget on a submarine, at least you can plan for maybe a horror cruise at the very least. Put it out on the water.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's right. That's right. Oh man. I think of cruises now, and that's all I think about is a horror movie.
Yeah, right.
In the literal sense, after everything that's happened, it's like, oh man.
Absolutely.
I've worked on a lot of movies, like a lot of shows and movies where the directors, you seem like a very like level-headed, easy to talk to kind of director, when it comes to that kind of thing. And I've had my fair share of people that I didn't really see eye to eye to, and I'm very kind of an introvert anyway. So if somebody was to come at me, I'd be like, oh, right. But I find that more bees with honey. You get more bees with honey, and I think. Do you find that that's how you go about directing, or?
I do. I think I think it's a situation. What does the situation need?
Mm-hmm.
I try and show everybody respect. There are a couple things that can really tick me off.
Yeah.
If you come on my set and you're disrespectful to my cast or crew, that's a biggie. Or if you're a crew member being disrespectful, yeah.
That's good.
That
good.
really is. You can see me go from sweet as apple pie to bar the door. Mama's coming for you.
But I agree with that, because I've dealt with bullying in my life. But okay, that makes me feel good that that's the way that you want everybody to kind of be treated equally.
Yeah. I do try to keep my temper under wraps for the most part. And even in those situations, I try very hard to take the person aside and tell them, don't ever do it again.
Right. Yeah.
There's a time and place on set for a director to be with the honey and a time to be with the vinegar, right? At the end of the day, it's you gotta do what you gotta do.
But I do try, one of the things that I do with my actors, first of all, I have a great deal of respect for actors. Mm-hmm. I know what it feels like to be in front of the camera, and I know it's one of the toughest jobs on set. As a director, I may have more going on and more to think about, and I may have way longer days than they do.
Yeah.
But their job to be natural in front of the camera at all times is really tough. And my job is to make them feel as comfortable as possible to help them get there. Now, there are times if I have an actor that I'm having trouble, let's say my actor just isn't getting angry and I need him to be angry.
Yeah.
I'll help him get there.
I love how you put that. Oh, I'll help him get there.
I'm there for you. I'm there for you. But I do tell him before we get on set, I say, look, if you're having trouble, now I didn't have to do this with Dee. She's a pro, or a lot of other people, but people that don't have as much experience, I said, look to me. I will help you get to where you need to go if you're having trouble. You're having trouble in you know, you need to cry or be upset or whatever it is. I will help you get there. And most actors are very grateful for that, because at the end of the day, you know, I may give them something to get really pissed off about, but when we get the shot and it's done and it looks great, I give them a hug and say, good job, we got it. And they understand, because I've already warned them that I'm going to help them in that way if they need to.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, try and get that person, push their buttons if they're having trouble finding the buttons themselves. Because the truth is in film, if you do not have a visceral response, it does not look real. Yeah. You can't fake blushing. You either blush or you don't blush.
Yeah.
You can't fake it. And if it's all right here. And if you're not responding here, you've seen it where somebody's having a close-up and it's blank. There's nothing there, right?
Yep.
You've got to give them something. Right. And so I always try also, if at all possible, and sometimes it's not, but I try it at all possible to make sure that I have my actors there or somebody else there to give them something to respond to. Awesome. Now, if I feel like in one case, I had a situation where somebody was overacting. Yeah. And so I changed it up and put myself in that place and gave them nothing. The reasoning was I needed to bring them down.
Yeah.
To make it feel more believable instead of out there. And so each thing I try and take into consideration what's going on. Mostly what I want, and the thing that I always ask when I'm hiring crew in particular, but cast too, you have to be easygoing. There's a lot of talented people in the world, a ton of talented people in the world. I don't need an asshole. You know?
Even more. I'm loving you even more.
Yeah.
This is refreshing to hear this. It really is refreshing, because I've dealt with a lot of people that were not fun to deal with at all.
Yeah. And I don't have the time or the care to, I want our film set to feel like a family and something where we have each other's backs. And I had incredibly talented members, and they're not assholes.
Well, it's all about having fun. I mean, that's what movies are all about, to me anyway. I mean, when I'm making this sort of effect for something or creating it, I'm having fun doing it. And I want to have fun going to set and creating this for the person that has hired me, right?
Absolutely. So, and that's the film set is a playground. Come and play.
Awesome.
You know?
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's okay if somebody has a little bit of a stressful day. We can cut them some slack. The question is, and if somebody has a grouchy moment, everybody may have one here and there, but is it the sum total of who that person is, or are they 99% of the time easygoing? That's what I'm looking for.
Sum total, Adam.
Sum total, yes.
I felt like Adam had to have some sort of, we just needed to make fun of him there.
Sum total. That's right. Everywhere I go and everything I do, that's what it is. So, okay, excellent. Any other questions? No. Okay. Then you know what? This has been a great conversation, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it up. So we'll just kind of put it out there. Take a moment and do a plug if you want. Say 13 Fanboy coming soon, and check it out and all that stuff. Go right ahead. Plug.
Absolutely. Yes, 13 Fanboy is coming soon. So please come and see the film. If you're interested in submitting a short story, we're talking about 2 to 4 pages for the ghost story book, and do 1.5 line spacing. And if you go over to Sheer Horror or Facebook, you'll find me, and you can private message me or check on Deborah Voorhees Sheer Horror group, and that share like garden shares through the eyes, not Every once in a while, I'll have somebody sit there and go, "Oh, sure." They're just sure I misspelled it. I'm like, "No, I didn't, but thank you."
Excellent.
So,
Perfect. So,
Awesome.
from all of us here at They Cast from the Coast, thank you very much again for joining us, Deborah. It was a wonderful time last time, and it was even more fun this time, to be honest. Like to have you in here because well, I don't think we're so nervous this time. I mean, I'm still nervous. It's Deborah Voorhees, everybody, but like this time, it's like, hey, Deborah.
But the thing is like before it was we were fanboying.
Totally.
Right? Like I we were fanboying. I what happened on set and blah blah blah, and you know what I mean. But this time it was.
Now we're friends.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
We're conversating.
Yeah, we're friends.
Conversation between friends now. So that's right. So.
Yeah.
That is so nice. Thank you, guys. I so appreciate that.
And the crew is here for you and for 13 Fanboy and for everybody else. So we'll help plug and push and we backed and we hope everybody else, was backing and putting their money where their hearts need to be for supporting independent horror like this. And we totally do wish you the best and all the best luck, with finishing up the editing because you're a powerhouse. You're editing it too. I still can't get over that. So this is great. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe down there too, and we will up here as well. But this coronavirus, hopefully this thing will end sooner than later, so we can get back to something.
This is something else, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you're right.
I have been studying it. I don't think you guys know I have a long-time journalism background. Right. And so I've been studying and researching this, and this virus is wicked. It doesn't just go after the lungs. I actually lost a friend to it. Oh. And it doesn't just go after the lungs. It suffocates the organs of the body and attacks the liver, the kidneys, and the heart, and the nervous system, and it is no way to die.
Jeepers.
The sooner we can get a vaccine, the better. I'm hoping if it continues to not mutate quickly, and right now it's not mutating that fast, but of course something can change that very quickly. And if it becomes like mutates as fast as the flu does, we could be in some serious trouble. But I really hope that doesn't happen and it ends up being more like a mumps or chicken pox, the polio, smallpox type vaccine where, we get it when we're kids and then we're covered. Yeah. That's what I'm really hoping with this. It has a lot of similarities to polio, which is quite disturbing. I have a dear friend of mine. He was got polio when he was a young boy. And he was literally taken away from his family at 8 years old, unable to see them at all. They didn't know how it was being transmitted. He had to be put in an iron lung. And he said the reports on it reminds him so much of the polio because of the extreme breathing issues that come about from it. And, the level of death on this, I didn't know it's been really hard for everybody to be without jobs. And I'm very concerned about the people and their financial well-being. But I do think that if we hadn't have done this, and I don't know, we may still not get out of this. It's hard to know. We may be opening up too soon. It probably, if we could have done it a month earlier, maybe we could have stopped it. But I don't know from here. But I'm hoping it's going to lay down for the summer and give us a little bit of breathing room before it kicks back up, that it's more seasonal, and that'll get us in a little better place to fight it. And I just want everybody to be safe and good and
wash your GD hands, people. Holy moly.
Wash your hands. And when you go out, wear a mask. you know, if you're out in an open park, you don't need to necessarily have one on. But when you go into a store, the grocery store or something, wear one. If everybody does, it'll keep the germs here.
Right.
It's still going to escape the mask. You still have a chance of getting it. But if you sneeze and you get about 20,000 droplets that go out several feet in a spray like this that we don't see, we can't see it really.
Right.
Or you can have it go here.
Mm.
So wear your mask, pay attention when you've been touching things, you know, wash your hands when you get home. Don't touch your face till you, after you get home, and wash them really well. And, you know, take care of yourself. I'm hoping that this will be a time when we can all come together, and it's a little discouraging when I see people using it as a political football. You know, it's those damn liberals or those damn conservatives. And I say, you know what? I know people on both sides.
Yeah.
And I know people in the middle. And guess what? We're all human beings. And I love and care about you, everybody. I don't have to know you to care about your well-being. You have blood in your veins. You have air in your lungs. And that's, you know, you matter to me. And I just would like us to unify.
Absolutely.
And start caring about each other as a whole instead of worrying about who said what. Stop being so damn childish about all this.
300%.
Well said. Couldn't have put it better myself.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Well, you know,
please be safe.
Absolutely. So you be safe as well. And once, I mean, our condolences for the loss of your friend. This is a rough situation. So, you know, please be safe, you and all your loved ones, and, you know, all of our support is out there for you too. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for tuning into the show tonight, and thank you very much once again to our special guest, Deborah Voorhees, our friend Deborah Voorhees. 13 Fanboy.
Thanks,
coming
guys.
soon, and everybody's excited for it. So check us out on Facebook. Check out the Deborah Voorhees Sheer Horror group on Facebook. It's a great place to check out everything and actually interact with celebrities like Deborah here. And, you know, check us out on all the major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Google Play and iTunes. And we're on Patreon, people, so open up your hearts and your wallets. And until next time, Josh?
Go watch this movie when it comes out. Buy it. And watch it again.
Multiple times.
Yes.
Multiple times. Aaron?
What Josh said. You can't say anything else. I'm just going to give you the jazz hands and be like, thank you, Deborah, for coming and being on this podcast with us.
Perfect. And Tim.
Thank you, guys.
Stay spooky and stay in your damn house.
Stay in your damn house. And say
and wash your hands.
So say goodbye to everybody, Deborah.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for everything.
Absolutely. So until next time, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. Bye.
Take care. Bye, guys.